everybody, my name is Heather and today I'm doing my January wrap-up video. I'm going to start with the one I just finished, and that is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. This book, if you recall from my January book haul, is about a woman named Nella, young woman, young adult. She just gets married to this wealthy merchant in Amsterdam, so she goes and moves in with him, but he's gone quite often. She can tell he's not really that interested in her. He's not visiting their bedchamber, and she's feeling a little lost, very alone. His wedding gift to her was a miniature version of their home. So she hires a miniaturist to help furnish the home, but the things that the miniaturist is sending to her are uncannily, is that right? Similar to the actual items in the house that the miniaturist would have no way of knowing about. So this book totally slowed down my reading process. It was slow, it was interesting but really slow. It's very engrossing, but I would not call it gripping. One of the blurbs on the back says it's gripping. I did not feel gripped by it. I didn't feel like I had to read it and finish it like really quickly. It was just kind of just meh for me. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 stars. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I loved this book so much. From the very first chapter, it grips you. This actually grips you. There's action and adventure, just the tiniest little bit of romance, enough that you want to keep reading because you want to have more of it, but you're definitely left wanting more, which is good because this is the first in a 7-book series, the second of which I've already purchased from Book Outlet, and that's called the Mime Order, so you'll see that in my February book haul. But yeah, anyway, you follow main character Paige, and she is a dream walker, which is a very, very rare form of clairvoyance. So it's kind of a futuristic, alternate future dystopian kind of thing where clairvoyants are collected and it's outlawed to be clairvoyant. So she works for this like underground criminal organization. But anyway, she gets captured by the government and she thinks it's all going to be terrible, but there's this whole big thing happening that no one knew was happening, and it basically sets off the rest of the series. But I don't want to say anything because it was a surprise to me and I want it to be a surprise for you guys, but oh, so good. I'm so excited for the next book. Jays? I always want to say Dreams, but that's the next one. Dreams of Gods and Monsters is the third one. This is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. It is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. The first one I read towards the end of last year, and since this is a sequel, I can't really tell you much about it, but the story of the trilogy is a angels versus demons kind of thing with a forbidden love, and that's kind of all I knew going into the trilogy, so that's all you guys need to know. Laini Taylor is very descriptive in her writing as well. It's very unique. Mental images that I would have never thought could be imagined, I was given in this. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying? Anyway, great author, very interesting story. This is the first book I read in the month of January, and that is Strands of Bronze and Gold by Jane Nickerson. This is a Bluebeard retelling. Now, if you are not familiar with the grim fairy tale Bluebeard, I don't want to tell you about it because I kind of didn't know what it was about, and I'm really glad I didn't because the ending was that much more shocking. But basically, the main character, who I have to refresh myself on her name, Sophia, her father dies, and so she is sent to live with this very wealthy, enigmatic, charismatic man who is going to be her legal guardian. And she's very excited about that. In the very beginning, she's this really naive girl who loves dressing up and just kind of flitting around like la la la. He starts off where you actually really like him because he's so charismatic and charming. He actually charms you as the reader, and he very much charms Sophia, so she likes him as her guardian, but then it starts to get a little weird. So this is a book I heard nothing about at all, and I saw it on Book Outlet, and I was like, you know what? I always pick up books that everyone tells me to read on BookTube, so I'm just gonna pick this one up. And I actually really enjoyed it. The writing style was wonderful, and it's very mysterious, quite gothic. and a little fantastical. There's ghosts, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I really liked it. I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I forgot to rate the other ones, but 4 out of 5. 5 out of 5. This was definitely a 5 out of 5. If I could give it a 6 out of 5, I would. If I could give it 1,000 stars out of 5 stars, I would, because Lumena by Amy Kaufman and Jake Kristoff is probably gonna be in the top 5 books of 2016 because it was so good. You guys, this book gave me all the feels. When my husband would like tap me on the shoulder while I was reading it, I would go like, what? What? Am I in the real world? Like, what is going on? Yeah, so good. If you don't know, if you've been living under a booktube rock, this book takes place in the future, where at the very beginning you've got Ezra and Katie, and they break up in the morning, and then a few hours later they are attacked by spaceships. It's basically told in a dossier of like confidential files. There are little like instant message conversations. Then it gets really crazy. Like, you get to look into the mind of an artificial intelligence. So there are these really kind of typographical art sort of things that are part of the story, and countdowns and just craziness. So good, you guys. You need to read it. You need to read it right now. Go. Stop watching this video. Is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. Now, I love Rainbow Rowell, and that is not a secret. The first Rainbow Rowell book I read was Fangirl, and it totally surprised me because I was thinking that it was gonna be so overhyped and like not actually that good, but it was really, really good. So I just started picking up Rainbow Rowell after Rainbow Rowell, and this is the most recent one, and I loved it so much. I feel like it was more adult fiction. It basically follows people's names. I'm so bad at names, you guys. Okay, so Georgie McCool. That's her real name. So she is married, she has 2 daughters, and her marriage is sort of, like, I don't want to say falling apart, but it is. It's basically falling apart. They live in California. She's a writer for a television show, and it's Christmas time, and she has to stay in California to work over Christmas, and her husband takes their family without her, basically, to visit his mom in Nebraska. And so she's kind of upset, but I don't know, she's thinking like, is my life falling apart? But basically at her mother's house, her landline that used to be in her old room is able to contact her husband from the past. So she thinks, can I save my marriage this way? So it's really cool. It's a contemporary, adult contemporary, but you've got that little bit of like magical realism going on. So it's so good, and I absolutely loved it. And I actually tagged a little line that was so, I don't know, there was something about it that made me so happy. She's talking about falling in love and being in love, and her sister named Heather, which I'm like, yeah, Heather, that's my name. So Heather asks, so you think most people bet everything their whole lives on hope, just hoping that what they're feeling is real? Real isn't relevant, Georgie said, turning completely to face Heather. It's like you're tossing a ball between you, and you're just hoping you can keep it in the air. And it has nothing to do with whether you love each other or not. If you didn't love each other, you wouldn't be playing this stupid game with the ball. You love each other, and you just hope you can keep the ball in play. I thought it was a really unique way of describing being in love and being in a long-term relationship. It made me think a lot about my life, and isn't that what books are supposed to do? So anyway, I love you. Okay, yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Maureen Kondo. This is actually a reread / re-listen to, because I have listened to this audiobook like 10 times, so I listened to it again in January. And if you don't know, it is a nonfiction book all about changing your life through tidying. And basically the premise is you get rid of stuff that does not spark joy in you. So we've done the program before, but I wanted to kind of redo the whole mental absorption of the concept, because I want to do the program again this year. Finally, this was not an audiobook, but I'm gonna play. I'm doing the vagina monologues, so I read it. I'm gonna include that because why not? I can do whatever I want. Yeah, so if you don't know what the Vagina Monologues is, it is a collection of monologues about vaginas. Vaginas! I read 8 books this month, so woo! Yeah, and then I'm also going to be filming a February TBR video, which will be going up in a couple days. I want to let you guys know that I'm getting super into my Instagram, or like more specifically my book Instagram. So that is the same name as my book channel. So it's Heather Forever Books with that @ sign. So you guys know how to use Instagram. So anyway, if you want to follow me on Instagram, that'd be really cool. If you don't want to follow me on Instagram, you don't have to. It's fine. I also am on Twitter at Heather Warren _ capital H, capital W. Okay, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want. That'd be cool too. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!